Hey guys, welcome. Sorry I posted this so late. Welcome back to Themis and Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. Moscow Mule. Let me know if you guys can hear me while I play the intro. We have some things to talk about. Hey Ash, welcome. Alex L. Sober Bobo, how are you? Life has been really busy. Next week particularly is going to be busy. So for the next 2 to 3 weeks, there will be for my live streams on Fridays, I will be posting pre-recorded videos. Hopefully I get this weekend to pre-record those videos. But yeah, so I'm trying to get as much content, not to say I'm just trying to push out content, but I want to keep a schedule, which is Tuesdays and Fridays. This week I just couldn't do it. So thank you all. I also want to clarify something from the last video. I don't want you guys to think that I did not see the baby, right? I saw the baby clearly. I saw what the baby was doing, and I wasn't just blaming the woman getting water poured on her. The truth is, I was already researching the Jezebel spirit, and I was going to do a video on it. And so it just kind of all came together in that video. So the reason I was focused on the quote unquote Jezebel stereotype and not really caring about the baby is, well, one, I'm exhausted talking about the baby. So that's one. But two, it just fit perfectly, in my opinion, into something that I wanted to talk about, sort of more big, not more bigger. That is not even correct. Bigger, right? Take care of you, Themis. We'll be here. Oh, thank you. And this is extremely cathartic for me. The live stream and like being on here, it's really cathartic. So thank you. Electric, thank you so much for being a member. My membership dance. All right, so let us thank you. Let us get into this topic. Let's take a sip. Everyone, take a sip. So there's this lady that I've spoken about before. I've been on her channel. I'm going to play this video because I want to explain something. In the beginning of her video, she makes a disclaimer. Her name is Chantel. She makes a disclaimer about what her channel is about. And for me, hearing what that disclaimer is means I don't have to react to it, right? Like essentially the premise of her channel, I think it's to drag Black women, but she states that the premise of her channel is to teach women who want to work with their Black men. And for me, I have nothing to push back against that with. Like, if you believe this is how women should be better, you're a woman and you want to do that, I don't really push back against women who talk about their relationships and how to make I don't care. But I'm only bringing this because two people have sent it to me, and multiple people have been asking me to react to her. And I'm going to play this video. I'm going to explain why. Not someone calling me from my office. That is interesting. So we're going to look into it, and I'm going to explain in the first couple of seconds why I don't try to debunk anything that she's saying. But also, separately from that, we're going to watch the entirety of this video. It's only like 7 minutes, and I'm going to explain some things that I find problematic, but it's not to push back against her because I don't care. Like, I literally could not care less. But because everyone has been sending it to me. Here we are. All right. Please get something to drink. If you drink, because this is a she's Jamaican too. No, no, it's after hour work. Oh, good. No, no, there is no after hour. There's no after hour. Um,
And my channel is for women who want to genuinely be better at dating and relationships by understanding men's perspective and hearing men's point of view on specific topics. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about makeup and
okay, so she is talking to a very specific group of people, right? And it's like it's not my audience, right? And it's not people I know. So like I don't have a problem with her channel. I don't have a problem with her. I, I don't know why anyone care, and I actually don't know why people who watch my channel would think that I would want to like debunk anything that she's saying. She's giving you guys the blueprint for how to work with your man. Um, it is what it is. I don't have anything to say. Demas, I need to know your intentions as you push back against our Jamaican sister. I like her a lot. I'm sure you like her a lot. But if you were listening to me, if you were listening, you would know that I am not pushing back against her and her message. She has a very specific group. She's teaching men, or not men, she's teaching women how to work with black men. They are black men. And if you're a woman who want to learn how to work with black men who are productive or whatever, I don't know. You can go to her. Like I have my opinion on this and I will give it. But let me just say, I don't care. And I'm not pushing back. I'm literally not pushing back against her. Like I stopped her in the beginning because I wanted you to know that her intro explains to me why it's not for me, right? So even me doing this is ridiculous. But let's continue.
filters and how that can be manipulative. I'm going to show a video. No, it's not to shame the young lady in the video, but she's the perfect avatar for this topic at hand. All right. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. Let's watch this video. Now, as I said, I'm not trying to shame this young lady, but let's call a spade a spade. That's straight up manipulation. That's straight up deceitfulness. All right. And too many of us as women, we put on this heavy makeup and we constantly use these filters and we take our pictures at an angle to try to trick our viewers, to trick men into believing that we look completely different than how we actually look.
All right, Van, let me announce something to the chat. So we had a meeting with the moderators on Sunday, and if I call you on the stage based on a comment you made and you do not come on, you will be blocked. Not just you, Van Lee, and I have no issues with you. I'm just saying generally. So we've decided that it's easy for people to be quote. I love Mahogany Pink for this for twerking in the chat, and I don't like people twerking in my chat, right? So I'm going to be calling people out now, and if I call you out and call you on the and call you on, you should come on and we can talk. But I'm not calling you on, by the way, Van. Like I presume you were joking, but I'm just announcing to the chat. So if you get blocked, that's probably why. That is going to be a strict rule. If you say something in the chat and I call you up and you don't come up, then you will be blocked. That's just it. Like it's kind of annoying that people can just be keyboard warriors. Anywho, let's continue. And no, I'm not trying to be messy at all. I actually find a bit part of this very delusional. And I'll tell you where I find delusional. Not her. I'm not saying she's delusional, though I think a lot of people would say that. But what I find what she's going to say delusional. I'll show you in a minute.
And we have men in relationships, in situations with women who they've never seen these women without their wigs or without their real face, with their real face on, without their lashes and their nails. They've never seen these women in their natural, real look. And a lot of men sometimes refrain from suggesting things from their woman. Like, a lot of times when men will say, oh, I prefer you without lashes, I prefer you with your real hair, women will turn around and say, oh, well, I'm doing it for myself, it's my confidence, I'm doing it for me, not for the men. But it's like we fail to realize that that's a form of manipulation. Because let us look at the topic. Let's look at the definition according to google.com of manipulation. It says to control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, and unscrupulously.
Now, if you look into any of those definition, if you're putting on makeup like people say for themselves, you would not actually fit into these definition. This is not something that I have to go back and forth with. It's not a debate. I'm not challenging her channel. I'm just saying, based on the definition she just read, she would be incorrect about whether or not women are manipulating men by wearing makeup. All there are tons of reasons why people wear makeup, but I'm not, again, this is not it. Like, I don't care about this. I care about a very specific statement that she's going to make, and I'm going to let her build up to it. This, by the way, is literally not the video for tonight. I'm literally just putting this out there to quench the appetite of people who said I should review her, and you will understand why I don't review her. I've been starting to talk about O'Shea Duke Jackson because I'll explain that some other time. But I tend to not review people who are specific in their message, and also people who I find to be less thoughtful in what they say. Like, there are people who just turn on their camera and start talking. I think she's one of those people who just turn on their camera and start talking. I feel like it's a waste of intellectual capacity to engage in some kinds of discourse. This being one of them, but we're drinking, so it's a fun night.
Similar words: exploit, control, influence, maneuver. And then a second definition is to alter data or present statistics as so as to mislead. We are misleading these men when we wear these overly makeup and always using filters. And I am all for makeup once in a while, light makeup, light makeup, light lashes. You can get your nails done. You can get your hair done, even if you want to switch it up once in a while. But we need to start looking within. We need to start calling a spade a spade. If you are constantly flooding your face, caking your face on with makeup to the point where you look completely different than your natural self, and your hair is a completely different texture, completely different color, completely different length, 24/7, 365 days a year, and this man that you're dating has never seen you in your true form, that's manipulation. If you're constantly taking pictures and you're constantly using these filters that give you a different eye color, a different skin color, a different skin texture. Now, let me put this out there. We all have insecurities, myself included. All right. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't wear makeup. I have on foundation right now. All right. We all have insecurities. But when you're going out in the dating pool and you're putting on a mask, because let's call a spade a spade. Wearing makeup is basically wearing a mask. You're going out there in the dating pool with this mask on, and then you're expecting men to take you seriously. You're expecting men to keep it real with you. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any logical sense. I'm not saying throw out all your makeup And I'm not saying stop use filter. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm encouraging us to look at things from a man's perspective. I'm encouraging us to to take ourselves away from the narrative that, oh, there are no good men out here. Men don't want married black women. Men don't aren't responsible. Men aren't protecting. Men aren't providing. And look in the mirror and say, could it be it's because these men aren't seeing our real selves? Could it be that because we're going out there literally with a mask? We're going out there hiding ourselves from these men. That's why they don't want to sign up to marry us. They're not even seeing the real you. And then if they were to say anything, it's, oh, you're bashing black women, you're putting us down. I'm not dressing up for you. I'm not doing this for you. It's like, come on. Like, our lashes, it's getting ridiculous. The use of
All right. So I played all of that. I played all of that. Wait, Themis, what are your channel sisters based on your analytics? P. Milan, Paris, Chrissy, just wondering. I don't actually, so I checked my analytics a while, but there are a ton of people. Actually, Abba and Preach comes up. Chrissy comes up, actually. I don't know what you're asking. Where do these people come from? Girl, apparently Jamaica. All right. So the funny thing, I actually don't care. And I played so much of it because I was like, if if I were a woman listening to this, it would just go in one ear and out the other. Nothing, like, I wouldn't believe what I do is any of your business. But like, the part that is strange to me is where someone say the reason men aren't lining up to marry you is because of all the makeup. Like, no. Like, no. So it's like I don't know what to say. So the people who are sending these to me, again, it feels like she just turn on the camera, find a comment, and make a small video saying some things about the comment that's supposed to feed into some narrative. I don't care. And I hope you guys don't care either. So we can both not care together. Because I mean, I don't like her, I don't hate her, and I don't know her. So please, if you would, do not send me any more of her videos at all. I don't I've been to her channel. And this is what I will do, but I'm not gonna do it anymore. Like, I went to her channel to test whether or not she things broader than whatever talking points is in the manosphere at the moment. And when I went on the channel, I realized that there is no depth to the conversation happening. It's just regurgitation of talking points. This is from my own experience, right? She might be an actually intelligent person who has a ton of range to articulate herself in many different places. She might be extremely successful, all of that stuff, right? I don't know. But my experience with her was that she did not have the depth of knowledge to go further than the talking points that she was talking about. And it was on a topic that was very obviously going to get pushback. Right. And so if you are doing a live stream and you're talking about a topic and then there are obvious sort of contradictions, one would think these people would engage meaningfully in the opposition. So when they're live and they allow people to come on, they can push back when it is needed. But what happens is it seems like a bubble. And so when there is an introduction of someone who disagrees, it's a mess. So no more, please. I am done. This is it with Chantel. Everyone said on the last stream she's a beautiful woman. I don't know. She let her do what she does. And if you want to learn from her, go learn from her. You can come and talk to me about it. But I will not be reviewing any more of her stuff unless she does something that is ridiculously weird. All right, cool. Now that's out of the way. Someone said that's a dating audition. Yeah, and I'm not. Please don't drag her in the chat or anything like that. I don't think we should waste this kind of mental space. All right. So let's move on to O'Shea Duke Jackson. This is what the video is about. So we have a content creator that I decided not to look into because if there are bad things there, I didn't want to know yet. So this YouTuber is Chris Williamson. He is a white guy. He's interviewing another guy, and they're talking about the Manosphere. And we're going to get into what they had to say. I'm going to drop the link so you guys can come up and we can have a conversation about where we agree, where we disagree. And they're going to talk about Fresh and Fit also. So I think it's interesting. But before we do that, I want to look at O'Shea Duke Jackson because he made a video. If you guys don't know, celebrity information, Lisa Bonet and Aquaman, they broke up. I didn't look into it. I don't know why. I don't care. Again, but O'Shea Duke Jackson, and it feels so. I get an image of the men in the manosphere, particularly when it comes to interracial relationship, that they're like waiting for something bad to happen to create a video and talk about it because we aren't sort of privy to the inner workings of the relationship, and so. The fact that these people are like talking about it in this way is very strange to me, but we all make commentary, so whatever, it's fine. Let's watch what O'Shea had to say because I find it quite interesting because he's going to be giving advice and oh, I know his real name. I call him Aquaman.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk Dima. I had a couple of music. So man, Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa have been together for 16 years. Now, what's really interesting is that, story time music. See, this is some ghetto shit, right? This is what ended up happening. They got together 16 years ago, but they were only married for 5 of those years. So they were doing one of those little ghetto like struggle relationships, right? And out of those, 16 years came 2 children. And Lisa Bonet was married to Lenny Kravitz. But we know her, if we really think about her, she was Denise on The Cosby Show, right? That's how we all fell in love with her at that time. And at a young age, she got married to Lenny Kravitz. It didn't work out. Then she was dealing with Jason Momoa, and it didn't work out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I want to look at is, look at the age difference between Jason Momoa.
So, 2 things. First, the Manosphere would tell you if you are a older woman that you've hit the wall, blah blah blah. Now, this would serve to contradict that message. So this is good for them. This is good for their plot line, right? Like it's good for them to talk about. Now, this woman left Lenny Kravitz, right? And then went to Jason, Aquaman, right? I would say she's been dating very well. Like, she's been marrying and dating very well. Like, I feel like this is as good as one can get if you're a woman like dating, quote unquote, dating up. 16 years of being together is amazing. 5 years of marriage is great. Like, look, I know many women would kill to be the ex of both these men, and she got both of them. So it's the fact that we're talking about it as if it's some kind of huge failure. Look, maybe it is some huge failure that I don't see, but in my mind, she's doing great. she is doing great. Like I mean, anyway, let's continue.
And Lisa Bonet. He's a man that is 42 years old. She's a woman that is 54 years old, right? And I want to talk about this dynamic because we've been seeing this happen quite often as of late. Keisha Cole, She was with Nico Kale.
No. You don't do that. You cannot compare Lisa Bonet dating history to Keisha Cole. Look, I'm a Keisha Cole fan. When Keisha Cole had that gap, she was singing like I liked her voice, right? Anywho, the way Keisha Cole dated was it seems, in my opinion, don't know this woman. It seems like she looked for younger guys to take care of. Lisa Bonet, she was dating up. Like Lisa Bonet stopped acting and just was chilling. Like do not compare them. Do not compare the way that they date. I'm sorry. I know this means I'm speaking poorly of this young man. I don't know this young man, but that's the point. I don't know this young man. I know both of Lisa Bonet's. Look, no, we're not doing this. Nope.
Or Nico Kale, she was almost like 100 years older than him. Erica Badu as this, dating this guy. He's like 27 and she's 50. We talked about Mary J. Blige, and she was dating this receiver from the New York Giants. I already forgot his name, Shepard or whatever. You see this whole older lady, younger guy dynamic, and at first, I think that for the younger guy, it seems, well, she's not playing as many games as young girls or young women. She's treating me like a woman is supposed to treat a man. And she's having a lot of sex and stuff like that. Here's what happens, though. And I've seen it happen in my own mother and father's relationship. My dad was 5 years younger than my mother. And let me tell you, for guys who can get into these relationships, when you get with a woman and you're a young man like he was, 26, she's 38, she's 39, she's not going to believe that you can lead her, okay? That's always going to be the problem, especially if she's more accomplished than you are, and especially in the same industry, especially being from a liberal place. She's born in San Francisco, California. That is always going to be a problem, right? And I want to talk about that because I put up a video yesterday about this lady that says that, a lot of young men should consider dating an older woman. And I would take a big precaution onto that because, especially in the Black community, a lot of ladies, in my honest opinion, can consider you to be a man that you don't have enough experience. It's almost like going for a job, right? You're fresh out of college. You want to be an accountant. Well, what do you often hear when you're applying for these jobs? Well, you might have the potential, but you don't have enough experience, And a lot of ladies can look at a guy like, oh, you're what I would like. You're physically attractive. But see, that attraction lasts only but so long. Because again, what did Bobby Blue Bland sing? Further on up the road. In the first year, it could be okay. But 18 months, 24 months, 30 months in the trenches, when decisions need to be made and masculinity has not been learned, it's the beginning of the end. And a lot of young men are not.
All right. So by virtue of being older, O'Shea Duke Jackson believes that a man becomes, magically a leader. I have so much problem with the leader issue. He's going to talk about submission and some foolishness later too. But I find this quite interesting because he's talking about leadership and stuff and a Black woman specifically when I'm not drunk enough to do this. Who are the people leading the household no, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Let's continue. Because by his logic, a lot of people would not be in relationships because they aren't leaders in the way he's going to be describing. But that's not me. He said it.
Ready for that. When you're dealing with a woman who's already sort of experienced life, has already sort of, doing things. And if she feels like she's the one that is leading you, mentoring you, and some women can take that role on for certain guys and then find out like, oh, you know what, later on, the kind of woman I am, I actually don't want a man that I'm leading. I actually would like to be the more of the opposite way around. I actually want to be with a man that I can respect. And it's all about being a man that a woman can respect. And when you have that age difference, especially when a woman is making more money than you, a woman has more, she is 12 years your senior, you're going to continue to run into that sort of problem. And it's always going to end in divorce. It's always going to end in the relationship.
All right. So I just wanted to show some of this video before I move into. When I hear people talk like this, it's like, again, you just turn on the camera and just start talking, because I think there is a conception of manhood that a lot of us have accepted about leadership and who should submit and why you should submit and blah, blah, blah. Some of you guys all think this way. It's fine. I don't care. If you think by virtue of being born male makes an individual the leader, period. Thank you. But no, thank you. It's not what it's giving. Now, that a person cannot respect you because of your age seems ridiculous to me, but that's neither here nor there. I don't care about that part either. The part that I care about is this notion that if a woman is leading, if a woman is the one buying things, if a woman is the person with more finances, then they cannot respect a man. Now, if that were true, I'm gonna leave that there. So when I think, I know it's annoying for me to start sentences and not finish them. But I've decided to start doing that a lot because it feels wrong. And it also feels horrible when I feel like it's so obvious that if you don't get it and you're like, wait, what are you saying? You shouldn't get it. Like you shouldn't get it. You should not get what I'm saying if you don't know what I'm saying when I cut off halfway through my sentence. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that there for a moment. One of the things that I was struggling with, and I'm going to play a little clip before I go into the interview that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to drop the link. When I think about the harm and this push, like on one hand, the manosphere is pushing for young women to date older men and older men to date young women. And then they're trying to prevent older women from dating younger men. And I think obviously this is part of a game. The game being played is being played on women, right? It increases the man's sort of marketplace value while it decreases the woman's marketplace value, right? So what that means ultimately, if we're just looking at looking at this in sort of pure economic terms, right? A man's age does not limit his access to the kinds of women he can get, while they limit women's age, women's ability to get a partner with age, meaning now we have a small number of women between the ages of 21 to 35, right? Those women, if they are to believe what's coming out of the manosphere, need to do everything they can to get a man, while men do not have to do anything, and in fact can wait till they're 55 because they're quote unquote high value. Now, if you do that, you have skewed the marketplace so fundamentally that women are essentially kind of begging, right? Kind of begging because so few of them exist, and then they're trying to get picked, right? Lowering the standard, right? Themis, I need chat room immunity. Your snippers are killing me. You can get immunity by coming on. I promise you. All right, let me add an addendum, right? If anyone comes on, regardless of what they say, you will not be blocked for what you say on the channel. Like when you're up here, you won't be blocked for what you say. Even if you curse me out live, right? I might actually cut that and put it as a separate video. I just don't want you in the chat twerking because I don't like people hiding behind their words, and I like to talk. So come talk. Come stand and be, this is so toxic. Be a man behind your words. And I was thinking about community, and when I was thinking about community and how you can advocate for people that you are sometimes afraid of, people that you don't necessarily trust, how do you do that? How can you be in community with people and advocate for people and not be while still being fearful, right? And I thought about this, and legit, this happened like sometimes earlier this week. A subscriber sent me this video, and I'm going to play this very small video, and then we go into people reviewing the Manosphere. And I thought this was this was beautifully stated, at least for me.
There's a lot
Because
as I'm grappling with
solidarity
about
does not require you to be in community.
Oh, tell us.
I love Black people. I don't like all of y'all. I'm a fight for Black people. All of you. Everybody can benefit from it. But I don't like all of you. I don't need to be in community with all of you. Everybody doesn't mean me good.
Oh.
But from a political standpoint, I'm fighting for all of us. Doesn't mean I have to be in community with you.
Come on.
Right? It makes me I always talk about Harriet Tubman being my patron saint. I think about her often and what she could have possibly been thinking. But the decisions that she had to make, she wouldn't fight nobody to be free. You don't want to be free, stay. That means she's not going to stop fighting for freedom. But you're not about to kill me and get me caught up because you acting crazy. Stay where you are. Sometimes loving Black people is about also creating boundaries and saving yourself.
Oh, Dr. Blade, teach us.
I wish I could throw a whole bunch of Black people away after this week in the news cycle and the way folks were defending somebody whose name I won't say. I wish I could throw a whole lot of people away.
Come on.
I won't, but I'm going to distance myself from you. I don't have to be in community with you to still value your humanity. Everything that I stand for still applies to you. I don't like you.
Come on.
You can't come to my house. I don't want to talk to you. Doesn't mean I change how I fight for what I fight for.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am not telling anyone to be anything or to listen to her or anything like that, right? For me, it brought a lot of peace. It brought a lot of peace because I've been struggling. The more I do research, the more I talk to people, the more I engage with even the online community, right? Oh, please let me know if you guys can hear me now. I thought I unmuted. Wait, am I still muted? Let me know if you can hear me, if I'm still muted. Yes, all right, you guys said you can hear me. You have muted yourself. I can hear. All right, good. So after a while, I've become kind of, there's a dark cloud, right? Because I'm thinking, I want to help. Fundamentally, I still have hope. I cannot let go of hope. I only have this channel because of hope. But most of what I talk about in intraculturally, it's hard, right? Like it's hard to think about because the truth is much sloppier than we want to talk about. It's sloppy in that it's all kind of messed up. And is there a way for us to clean our house while requesting for external help. And I think there is a way for me to do that, but I needed to hear someone else articulate the sentiment that, but you can love your own people. You can love to be a part of a community while recognizing that you can't be in community with certain people within your community. I thought it was powerful. I thought it was a powerful moment. It gave me a sense of peace that I haven't had in a long time regarding how I engage with my community. That was an important word that the sister brought. Receive the truth and love, as Themis and Thoth. You can help those who can be helped, but you also need to protect your peace. Yeah, yes, perfectly said. All right. So I'm going to post after I make the first stop in this video that we're going to watch, I'm going to post the oh, okay. I'm going to post the link for you guys to come on. And we're going to discuss this. I want to discuss about who gets to talk about Black spaces. Is he right? Is he wrong? What part of this do you care about? What part you don't care about? And let me just say upfront, these two people who are speaking, I would definitely love to speak to. I haven't in a long time seen YouTubers and content creators who, after the discussion, I felt like I really would like to talk to these people because it was smart. It had thought. There's no research popping up anywhere. It's just, it was thoughtful. And we don't get to see that a lot, particularly in the Black Manosphere. So I found this like really interesting. So let's watch it together. And the first pause, I'm going to be sending the link for you guys to jump on. All right, are we ready? We ready. Let's go.
Next. All right, so give me your thoughts on Red Pill YouTube.
Yeah, it's mixed because a fair amount of people, and somewhat including myself, have found some value in them, and there is absolutely value in having like older men give you wisdom, and they'll record videos and they'll say, for example, like, don't pedestalize women, they're just normal people and everything. The issue is that those type of videos don't really do well on YouTube. What does better is like, okay, we hate women now and treat them like garbage, and here's how to like fuck them and like, throw them out and everything. It's like how to do like degenerate type of stuff. And the issue now is the internet's very, very nuanced. And so any kind of like red pill YouTuber that you're going to come across is usually on this side of quite a degenerate, negative, hateful, hostile personality. And I've certainly, like, I'm not even exempt from this. I've certainly branched into this multiple times. The issue is that what does best for views and for likes and for growth on YouTube, which is an admirable, it's a business at the end of the day, is how people make a living. That isn't what is best for a young man's mind. So the red pill YouTubers who are very popular right now are almost entirely just a negative influence, in my opinion. They do teach some things. So, for example, a young man who stumbled onto the red pill YouTubers will, for example, learn something which will help him with the next girl he speaks to. But the issue with that is that by emulating the red pill YouTubers that he sees, the only girls that he can attract are similar to the girls that red pill YouTuber are attracting. And the red pill YouTuber, if he says all women are hoes, and then he's teaching you, here's how to text girls. Well, he's telling you how to text hoes. So now the young man who's following that advice, any good, healthy woman is not going to be attracted to the way he texts, in this example. Only the hoes are going to be attracted to it. So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. And people said this to me multiple times as I was going through my red pill journey myself, but I couldn't really understand it. They're the blue pillars, we can't trust them and everything. Up until you really do take a huge step back and you realize you've just pigeonholed yourself to attract the women that you actually do hate.
He just he called them degenerates. he said the red pill men are degenerates. Agree, disagree. I think an interesting part of this, I think an interesting part of this is the part where if you are, so think about this. This is what they were saying too. If these men think that women are HOEs, right? And they think women are not good people, all of that stuff, right? If they believe this and they're teaching you to get women or to get with women, right? Does it then not make sense if they think women are bad that they would be teaching you how to get these bad women? Right? Like if there's no I can't get I find it really, really interesting because when you call someone degenerate, I feel like there's no coming back from that, and he just called them degenerates. All right, let's. Deanne says, "This is what we have been saying. The men who are above black men in the world are passing judgment and making decisions. Black men are feeding right into the degenerate stereotype that already exists." This is actually true. All right, let me rephrase that. I believe this to be true. I talked about this on the previous live stream where we now in the contemporary world have a ton of power and access, right? This power and access that we have has the capacity to completely transform our image as Black people, be that image real or fake, it doesn't matter. Images are images, right? And with the technology that we have to control the image of ourselves and the people in our community, we have decided to make a profit from talking poorly about each other in the community specifically. And this is very specific. I will debate anyone on it. It's starting with men, and then women are pushing back. Hip hop, for example, demonized women for the longest of time. So, and if you believe men are supposed to be the leaders, which we are in a patriarchy, you can fight me on that. We can debate on it. So in the society that is ultimately a patriarchy, if you're supposed to, as a man, be leading your community, the feminist in me just cringed. But if you're supposed to be leading your community and you're online trashing the woman in your community for not being what you want them to be, well, the question then becomes, did you create an environment where they could flourish in the way that you want them to be? And if the answer to that is no, then you have failed. Add to that the fact that you are saying, oh, this is why Black men date white women and Latino, because they understand how to treat a man, because the husband, the father was there and they had to take care of the father and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Not to mention how bad this is, a stereotype. But if that is why Latino and which is not a race, but whatever, and white women are able to learn to be quote unquote submissive, not to mention that they started the feminist movement and pushed it, but whatever, they're submissive, fine, sure. It's because their father was there to teach them. Why wouldn't Black women be submissive? Would it have to do with their father not being there? Like, by the way, the framework is trash. Let's be clear. The framework is trash. It's not real. It's not true. But if it were, do you not see how men's role in creating the women they want becomes important? I don't understand how you don't see how you're projecting your image out into the world, how you are treating each other and treating yourself, and then how do you expect the rest of the world to look at you when you do this? Anywho, let's continue. I feel like that's very straightforward, right? Like, I feel like that's very straightforward. Harris is vice president. The handwriting is completely on the wall. All right, let's continue.
Dude. Well, I mean, here's a good example. Think about the girls that Fresh and Fit invite round. Like, they purposefully go out of their way to find the thottiest, most ratchet, degenerate girls that they can from the streets of Miami, and they invite them round.
That is so disrespectful. I'm not. I'm going to continue, but that is disrespectful.
And they have some drinks, and then they use it as their opportunity to outwit the only other people in Miami that they can, who are these nightclub girls, and then use that to, like, their intellect stands on the shoulders of girls that are 5 tequilas deep. And
Oh my God.
dude, I'm fucking adamant that the fact that Fresh from Fresh and Fit is seen as an alpha male by some corners of the internet, I'm fucking certain that that is one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Like, that is the biggest. Forget COVID, forget Trump, forget January 6th. The fact that that man is seen as an alpha is the worst comment on culture in the modern era that I could give.
Where are people? Please, please come on. Girl, not me dragging Fresh last week for him to be dragged again this week. This man said for Fresh to be considered an alpha is literally oh my God, I cannot. There's period. I mean, I agree. I literally agree. This is fun. All right, let's continue.
Which one is Fresh?
He's the one that always sounds like he's got food in his mouth.
Oh my God.
Permanently sounds like he's got food in his mouth. He just got rumbled for being on Seeking Arrangement. So he has this chick on the channel and he invites her around and they start talking about how I know that she's different. She's this sort of a girl. She meets him at this boat party. Then everybody finds that she's got this TikTok account where she says the only type of guys that she likes and then just switches to a photo of a bucket load of cash. She's got a channel on Seeking Arrangements and it's like luxury lifestyle, fitness lifestyle, exclusive parties. And it turns out that that's how he met her. He's got this weird story about how he was at a party in Miami with this basketballer. And then this basketballer said, oh, I fucked that girl as well on your Instagram. Hey, why don't you come back to where's the good parties tonight? And then Fresh ends up taking him around and ends up having like sex with 5 girls in one night or something. You're like, dude, this is like Jay from the In-Betweeners. This legitimately sounds like, so I had one over there and I was fucking her with my toe. And you think, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Okay, that was a drag. First of all, I talked about that story. Oh, we have someone in the back bringing up now. No one, absolutely no one should believe that. No one should believe that story. Nobody should believe that story that Fresh told about him meeting a basketball player and the basketball player said they slept with the same girl and became friends and then they went to a party and then had an girl. No, Fresh, sir, no, absolutely not. That's not it. No one believes that. Anywho, Ultimate Gemini, go ahead. Marcus is in the back with that. You're on mute.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I really don't have anything to say so far. This man is giving a read that I'm here for. Like, I'm just here for it. Like, I thought it was weird too that a lot of people were saying these people are alpha males, but it's like, in what world? But I'm here for it.
Yeah. Marcus?
I just have one short point. Like, I do like how he's dragging them, but they're still, I'm not 100% here for it because there's still a level of misogyny is how he's approaching it. Like the whole Madonna horror complex, how he's talking about the girls from Miami. And also the other guy who said he was a former incel, and he still is having traces of, the misogyny. It's like, it just converted until from all women to Madonna whore or
Yeah.
like the women who just quote unquote deserve respect. And where he said, I know I've said this before, but it's all connected. But where he, the gentleman who was a former incel, he said, this type of rhetoric is what gets you views. And I will always say, like with the people who talk about, I guess, extreme divestors or whatever, people who have extreme views on the female side, they were like, well, they do that too. I will never equate the two because those views are heavily criticized. They don't get a lot of traction beyond just being controversial, even with people in their groups, versus if famous, if you wanted like 500,000 subscribers by next month, you would like totally come on and start bad mouthing Black women. Like that would be how you would have to grow your channel. So I would never equate the two.
Yeah. The thing is, there is some level of truth, and I do agree with you. Like the Madonna horror sort of complex is kind of what he has. Like he's created a distinction among women, right? Interesting point. However, it does seem there is a filtering aspect to the Fresh and Fit podcast, right? And it seems like these women are selected specifically, but also they remove their phones and then they give them alcohol. And then they have a ton of like pseudo research that they're going to throw on these women who are unaware. So it's not that these women are necessarily dumb. I don't know them to say that. But the circumstances under which they're having this quote unquote conversation would put these women at a distinct disadvantage. I think there's a way to articulate that without degrading the women involved.
Yeah, I was saying, because like the way you said it and the way he said it, it was the same point underneath all of that, except for you said it without misogyny. You know, so it's
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the content creators, like myself included, actually, I think we suffer from living and being a part of a world that like is misogynistic, right? But I do think this is interesting because a lot of the performances, I believe, this is an opinion, but I think a lot of performances by men, Black men, is done for the views and through the gaze of the white man. And I'll explain that some other time when I've fully fleshed out that thought. But the way they're being perceived by the broader society is not good. And I don't know if they know that or they have the wherewithal to figure that out, because your actions seem to suggest that you are of lower value. Not that you are, but it seems to suggest that you are. And I think it's interesting because the fight for being perceived as high value has turned these men into essentially low value people, right? Like even if they were before, like now people are looking at them and thinking, like Fresh and Fit specifically, they do not have the kind of value that they want to have, I think. And maybe they've turned their show into the Jerry Springer of YouTube, where it's just like mess. Like there's no respect there. There is no sort of intellectual curiosity, and it doesn't seem like they care. It's just we are getting the most views, and that's just that. And maybe that's what they want. Does anyone disagree with that or agree with that? I wanted to add to that.
I wanted to add to that. I was recently in a forum discussion when I was asking like a lot of people of what they thought of what red pill guys, like, you know, in my perception of red pill and Manosphere, it's like this kind of like toxic Fresh and Fit kind of energy. Like, you know, that's what I've always perceived them as. But as I like engage with other races of men outside of Black men, I realized that they were saying that it's more of a it's more like a broader term. Like there's more people that are that identify with red pill and Manosphere that I think that in the Black community it's just been kind of like labeled this fresh, and you know, the Samuel what's that man's name?
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, that guy. So So it's just kind of labeled in that particular energy. But when I notice like other people from different spaces, they don't view it in that same way. The guy, he was telling me that red pill is kind of like he was basically saying it's a matrix reference to like deal with the reality of like how women are, and not just like you know, degrading in this whole fake masculine, toxic masculinity thing. So once I noticed that, it was like, oh, so most of the time as a Black woman, I'm perceiving this type of red pill guy that doesn't really exist. And what he told me was that the man that I was describing was a blue pill guy that was pretending to be red pill. And I was like, oh, so that makes sense, because he says blue pill is meaning that somebody in a false reality. And what I've noticed is that they do seem like they are in a false reality, like their own little made up world. You get what I'm trying to say? So
yeah,
I encourage people to engage more.
Outside of the red pill, blue pill distinction, yes, I get what you're trying to say, because I don't make a distinction anymore. I don't have time for the foolishness. I'm not gonna intellectualize their foolishness. I'm not doing it. Mm-mm.
But it was interesting for me to like see that other people had different perceptions of it. And as me, as a Black woman, what I've experienced of what these people are putting as red pill, it's not what other people are thinking. So it just like when you go out and you engage and have conversations with other people, it's like they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? Like this isn't what red pill is. It seems like you haven't been dealing with true red pill people or whatever.
Yeah. K Mariam V. I'm hoping I said your name correct. Thank you. Hi, team. It's new subby here. Been binging all week. Oh, thank you. I like hearing that. I like hearing people binging the channel. So thank you so much. Hopefully you're enjoying your time here. This is a live stream. If you have a time, please jump on and we can talk. Does anyone else want to respond, or do you guys want me to continue playing for a moment first?
I have
someone said the white manosphere is toxic too. Agreed. Go ahead.
I think they do, like what you're saying, like they're not getting the respect. So they created the echo chamber because like when they outlandishly disrespect a Black woman or other women, they get way more views. And then they have their Patreon and then their live streams where their whole audience is bigging them up and like encouraging them. So in their heads, that is respect. And so this person who's bad mouthing them, who seems to disagree with their Fresh and Fit's low view of the women that they bring on their show, like I'm sure Fresh and Fit, like any other big Manosphere person, would be like, oh, this person has less views than them, or they're like trying. What is it? Riding the coattails. I don't know what the young people say. Riding the coattails, or just like, oh, he's a simp or something. They have all these negative things that they can throw on any small dissenting voice. And even actually, there was another video where the Toucan Sam looking one was on another online thing. Thank you. I knew you appreciate that. Was on another online thing, and it was a bunch of Black men, and one older Black man was like also coming for Fresh and Fit and saying some of the things you do, like you don't love yourself and blah blah blah, and they were just like laughing it off. Like I think they, in summation, I think they really do believe that they're getting respect, they're getting money, they're getting bitches, and like that's all they need. And in their head, they probably don't even see or feel any of the stuff. Like they totally believe they're getting respect.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna get dragged in a moment for that too. So let's go back to this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. My first perception of them, once I saw like quite a lot of like clickbaity content, and there's just girls' ass in the thumbnail and everything, and it is definitely entertaining to watch, because it is just like kind of degenerate shit that you like. I don't want the door to open. I don't want my mum to walk in. I'd rather just switch porn on. It's easier to explain. But there's just, the issue is, right, with stuff like that, again, it's inherently just negative media. There's some people reply and they say like, oh no, but it's really helped me, but it's like, I don't think it would have. I think any realizations or insights that you really got from at least the show that they do with the girls, it's just kind of like, you need to watch one episode or just read Rollo
the same
Tomasi's
shit.
books. It's just, it's like, women are 70%. It's like they just reply in the exact same thing. They've just got different girls, and it's just like young men are consuming it just as an addiction to like their YouTube, like, you know, content consumption. I will go to say though that they do shows with like other guys. So they've done shows with like Rollo Tomasi, Jay Waller, and Sterling Cooper, and those ones, like it's so different. Like I wish they did more, because they're actually giving some like great wisdom, and it was a totally different vibe where they're thinking of like the young man, and they're thinking, okay, guys, you should like focus on your credit score and everything. And it's like, that's some like good ass advice right there. But the issue is like that doesn't sell. Those ones will get a lot less views.
That's
Just
the
ass
difference,
on
man.
Ass on the thumbnail. That's what we want to see.
We
like,
kick these hoes out. Like that's what everybody wants. It's a drama channel. Someone said, what was it?
So this is interesting. The women essentially make the show, right? Because I look through the Fresh and Fit show, right? And absolutely no one is watching the credit score parts and those parts. So women go on knowing that they might get kicked off. It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Women go on knowing they will probably be dragged, or maybe they don't actually know. Maybe they think they are going to be the exception. On one hand, we recognize the utility of women and their bodies, and shaming them for an audience of incels who think men deserve better, and that women sort of disrespecting them at some point in their life, or a woman turning them down, deserve their just due. And this is their just due, right? Them being shamed publicly is entertaining for people who are consuming this kind of stuff, because those are the people who, like, let's be real. The men watching this aren't, by and large, aren't the men who do well with women, right? The men who love women, right? Like, if you see women, and they're going to talk a little bit about this, right, as being on an opposite team, something to be conquered, right, then you don't love these people, right? You are in direct opposition to women. And so it makes me believe, and they talk about this, right? It makes me believe that it's for these people's gratification, not just entertainment. Like, yes, finally, these women get what's coming. You think you're beautiful, you get to get dragged publicly. I want you guys to respond to that each, and then we can watch some more. You should watch the video that has the leader of the Black Power Party dragging. Oh, I saw that. I actually saw that. I was actually going to play it tonight, but I decided I've dragged them too specifically, too much. So I'm going to, I decided not to do it. This is a good point, Themis. Thank you. All right. Who wants to take that first? Let's go. Nini, Vitamin first, and Nini, and then I'm Not Forever One. All right, Vitamin.
So I think I mentioned on one of your lives before that it's pointedly important for them to make sure that the women are bowed, bent, and broken. Because one of the main points that they want to give about having these conversations is that, okay, this is about women not being accountable. But like I saw somebody posted a post from Facebook where a guy was saying like he didn't understand why young women weren't wanting to have children. And then of course, everybody's like, well, of course they don't want to have children. They don't want to be single mothers. And your guys' standards is that single mothers are bad. And your guys' standards is that a woman is used up if she's ever had a sexual history. And but yeah, they're still saying you're never really accountable, because for them, accountability is not about you making decisions that don't benefit them. Accountability is about you being so shamed that you will do whatever it is that they deem you should. And you will take whatever it is that they deem you should have and nothing more. You ask for nothing more, you'll demand nothing more.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Let's do I'm Not Forever One and then Nini. Or Nai, I don't know.
Oh, did
I'm
you
not
say me
sure.
first? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I just make sure. What she said, Vitamin said was absolutely spot on. That's facts upon facts. Absolutely. That's exactly what they want to do. I just noticed what this guy said, how about a lot of these guys really just want to kind of sleep with women, be done with them. It's just interesting to me. So you males want women to treat you well, but how are you planning on treating them? And why is it that you males expect women to hear that nonsense and be okay with that? I wouldn't want to be anywhere near you.
Yeah. I think Nina is next.
Yes, hello.
Yep.
Oh, okay. There is one thing that is confusing to me. How can you be a man in time in this time and space and a problem getting a woman? That is for me somehow difficult to understand. I do understand a woman with problem finding a man, yes, absolutely. But the other way around, for those incels men, right? I'm sorry, English is not my native tongue. I don't understand how you can have problems finding a woman.
No,
I'm sorry.
no, you want to know something interesting? They can find a woman. They keep punching way above their grade, essentially because of the power they have given to certain kinds of women. They gave those women those power, and then you try to get them, they turn you down, and then you turn around and try to like yell at every single woman, most of which have done nothing to you. Like there are a ton of women who are like, I would I would be everything and anything you want me to be. But you don't want those women. You want a very specific woman, but you shame the woman you don't want for the woman you want rejecting you. But yeah, they I shouldn't say this. There's some men, I don't know, but I don't think there is a man that could tell me that he could not find any woman who wanted him. I, y- y- I won't believe you. I will not believe you. I feel like no, but they get rejected from the ones that they love. Well, not love, the one that they pedestalize, and then they take it out on everyone else when those people don't return their love. I am making a video, and someone talked about accountability. I started recording a video that I'm kind of proud of for my second channel, and the first thing we're talking about is accountability. And it's because of a comment that I posted on the community tab. And I think when we think about victimhood and victimhood mentality, I think there is a mentality. I think you can be a victim and that's legitimate, right? Obviously. But I do think there is something to be said without fear of being associated with the super conservative sector of politics, right? There is something to be said about the victimhood mentality and the perpetual victimhood that you're in and not wanting to take the driver's seat and then blaming everyone for where you end up when you didn't decide to drive. But that's a whole different topic. I'm going to go to Sai. Thank you, Nai Nai. Is it Nai Nai or Nini?
It's Nai.
All right, good. Sai, do you want to say anything before we go back to the video?
Oh, sure. Just briefly, hello, lovely. Hello, everyone on the panel. Hello, everyone in the chat. I actually just wanted to ask a quick question to you, Themis, and everyone in the panel or on the panel right now, based off of everything we've seen. Does anyone see sort of this, what's it called, air that's sort of permeating over this community to where not only is there a lack of accountability, but there's also this lack of identity or self-identity? Because something that I've noticed is that even with the foundation of the Manosphere community, it seems to be based off of the drippings of the incel community that's already been established. In this community, there's always seems to be a blame of someone else for everything that they do. And in this, I find this contradiction of again, this leadership delusion that seems to be resonating over these men, or just it baffles me. And something else that I've noticed is, or something else that I'm wondering is, do you think that now, because they don't have an identity and they kind of look for leadership and look for guidance to create one, that now they've been critiqued by people in power? Do you think that they'll try to move differently? Do you think that they'll kind of double down? Again, I think that it's amazing how this delusion of leadership happens based on people who can't even seem to form their own identity and move based off of the reactions of everyone else. So I was just kind of bringing that up, and I was just wondering if I made any sense. I apologize, folks,
No,
because I
you
was trying
made
to
a
figure
lot of
out how
sense.
to. I was
Oh,
trying to figure
you
out how to
made a,
word this.
no, you
You
made a
made
lot of
perfect
sense,
sense.
and that
Yeah,
was
that was
that was
facts.
yeah, yeah. Will they change? You think based on the pushback? I don't think so. I called it in a previous video the Chris Browning of it all, where after Chris Brown did what he did with Rihanna and he had the bad boy image, he just leaned fully into it, right? Instead of changing. I think they are also doing the same thing. It would be nice if they changed, even if they didn't believe it, it would be nice because they have such a huge platform. I don't think they will.
Can
And
I
I
say
don't,
something?
who's that? I don't think they will. And part of why I don't think they will is because every time they have a conversation about someone else, it's always about the numbers and who has more subscribers and who has more views and all of that. So it, someone said when a question is a drag, it was a drag. So because they're getting a ton of attention from this, and not just YouTube attention, but um oh but like mainstream attention from it, this is good for their brand if their brand is to be like the Jerry Springer-esque show, right? If they're not actually trying to be positive, and we know they're not trying to be positive because Fresh sat there and said, he didn't go through racism, so he doesn't care. The other one said black women from Africa weren't his quote aesthetic, right? That's not the aesthetic he's going for, right? And we can laugh at this because we know that these people are dominated, right? They are conquered men who have accepted their domination, right? So I hope, and this is difficult because there has to be a sort of response to people speaking on your personhood like this on the internet, right? So I get the women's discomfort, but hopefully at some point we also look at them with pity, right? Pity in that they are not men who have grown and developed into their own manhood. Manhood not in the sort of patriarchal sense, but like personhood in that I know who I am and there's beauty in who I am, right? Like they didn't get that. They were dominated and they've accepted that domination. So I look at them and I pity them. I don't like them, but I pity them because it's like, I know Fresh. When he looks in the mirror, it's impossible for him to like himself and then come on and say, I don't date black women. I date white women. You don't like yourself. You just don't. So I mean, from my perspective, it's just very simple. These men are dominated. They accepted their domination. They have gained a platform. They get some level of success, and they will keep riding that wave until there's nothing left. Until women stop showing up to their live streams and people stop caring. But yeah, I mean, you already did the dragon here question, but this speech, this sector of YouTube was born out of the incel. Much of it was born out of the incel community, the white incel community. These were men who did not believe they could get women. They were not attractive. And a lot of those talking points about the hatred for women has seeped into the Black manosphere, right? And I don't know if they know how they sound, but to the majority of the people listening to incels, they were a laughing stock of the internet, right? And now Black men are adopting some of the same talking points. And as we see to the broader society, they are laughing stock. Like, people are laughing at them. And in the community, there's some people who recognize it as bad. But unfortunately, I don't know if we as the Black community have developed enough to push this off as trash, because they are men who live and die by the words of the Manosphere. And unfortunately, that, I believe, after doing a lot of research, but I believe not verifiable completely yet, I believe that it's having an impact in the way that we engage with each other. And Black women specifically are at the worst end of this really, really bad new era of manospheric content. Like, I mean, it's bad. That's a long-winded way to say they're not going to change. I don't think. Let's continue.
I was gonna say I want to push back a little bit, and this may be controversial in this space to say, but I think that ultimately what they're not being mindful of, or even I don't even think they're aware of, is ultimately they're lonely and they feel powerless, and there's not everything that they say that the core of it, when you strip away all the BS, that I disagree with. Ultimately, I'm hearing at the base of it all is we're tired of being used for money. We're tired of being, used for utility. We don't want to be expected to have to give everything and get nothing in return that we would. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is when we women say that type of thing, we're speaking solely for ourselves. The problem I tend to have with their content in trying to be empathetic to it is you have to down me or anybody who doesn't fit your ideals in order for you to be able to stand in what it is that you say that you want. You can't just sit and say, I want this. I don't want a bigger woman. I don't want a woman with children. It has to be no man wants women with children. No man wants this. No man wants that. So from there, it's not very self-reflective.
No. So I agree with you.
I want to push back as well.
It's made not to be about the self, even though we know it's about the self, because they don't want to own up to the fact that they feel bad, right?
That they feel insecure.
Yeah, and a part of this is like they've created a platform, so they have money just to some degree, right? But they are upset that women, because they've been taught this, so women only want them for their money. Like, let's be real. Fresh got that woman off of let's not do it. She was essentially a sugar baby based on her own words and what she said she wanted in a man and showing money, right? And that's who he dated. So we know his dating experience is that of women who wants him for money, not for him, right? All right, cool. The men who are watching are aspiring, even if they're not acting on this aspiration, to be the quote unquote high value man, because let's be real, based on the stats, these men aren't high value anything in terms of finances, right? So they want it, and they resent the women for not coming to them, even though they have nothing, right? So I agree to some extent that these men are deeply hurting. Like, you have to be coming from a place of hurt to say some of the stuff that they say. And instead of owning it and say, I don't want a woman with education, or saying, I don't want a woman with education, that translates in my mind, right, as I myself, I don't have education. If I am with a woman with education, I am the lesser of the two. I, as a man, should not be the lesser of the two. I should be the leader. Therefore, I don't want a woman with education. Now, what you could do is just throw all of those mentality away and say, you know what? I'm a feminist. I believe in equality of the sexes, because the truth is that you don't want to pay.
Well, so can we also acknowledge that most of the time these men, even though they're having this pity party, they're not going towards women that actually genuinely want them. Their idealistics of a woman is superficial as well. So they want everyone to let's
stop. Let's stop. there are two women that I've talked about this. They're talking to two very different groups of women. The women they want, you are correct, do not want them.
Yeah.
They don't want them. And the only way they will want them is if they have money, right? The women who they're talking to about their education and things like that aren't the women they are going after, which is unfortunate. I think it is important for them to segment the people that they're going after. The problem is they are not actually being honest. Like when they say, again, I don't want a woman with education, it's about, or men don't want a woman with education. They are saying, I don't want a woman with education. That's literally what they're saying because they can't speak for every man and they know it. But they will look dumb. A lot of people come on this channel and they'll say, yeah, I mean, it's a plus, but like, blah, blah, blah. No, you're insecure and it's fine because you can't compete. I know that they can't get the woman that they want. And because of that, they crap all over other women who did nothing to them. Some of them, unfortunately, might have want these men. I don't know why, but some women would probably date.
You see some women want to play like, I can save you, I can fix you, I can help you, I can make you love women again, and then they just get hurt. And so, yeah.
Oh, please, save your damn self.
I can.
I am not for everyone. I think you were saying something. Sorry. In response to Vitamin, I was on a tangent.
Oh no, you were on a roll. You were speaking. Y'all was all speaking up here. I'm enjoying this. But I was gonna say, what did I write down here? I was gonna say for you, Themis, it's okay for you to pity them if you want to. I mean, they are your gender. That is okay. Mine, on the other hand, you ladies, you should not pity them at all because you didn't do anything to them. You didn't do anything to deserve the mistreatment. They know what they're doing and they just don't care. And it's not just these two that are doing it. Just point blank, period.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you said that because I need to clarify. Pity can be with a sense of grace, and it can be with a sense of sort of not necessarily disdain, but it creates a wall, a barrier, so that whatever they're doing verbally cannot hurt you. My pity is the latter.
I want to clarify because it's exactly, I think people are misunderstanding with me saying that I'm observing this and I am understanding that is where it's coming from as me saying, oh, poor them. That is not what I'm saying. I have not been dealing with men since like 2015 because I needed to take a step back and observe. And it's through that observing that I can say, okay, this is weakness, and this is mental issues and emotional issues. And so me being able to classify it as such from, a balanced perspective doesn't necessarily mean that I want to swoop in and save them. To the contrary, I used to want to swoop in and save them before I understood just how deep this went and how malicious it makes them because they are not aware. So when I speak on this, I'm talking about awareness. I'm not talking about, doing anything about it.
I think a different word would help. Maybe like condolences. Like, I feel like condolence kind of like gives you that I separate myself, but I feel bad for you, but like you have my condolences.
Yeah, well,
Themis, no.
Go ahead. Sai.
No, it's okay, dear. You can go ahead and speak. I'll say something after you.
AJ said, I love how Themis just wrote down pity and grace to protect yourself. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I would never say reach your hand into the fire to grab the snake to save it. Because if the snake is venomous, it's gonna attack you too, right? Like, don't put yourself at risk to save people who don't want to be saved, and particularly people who are going to do a tremendous amount of harm to you and your community. Absolutely not. My pity is without the need for full-blown empathy. My pity distances me from you, and I essentially look down on you. I do. I look down on men who say that they don't date women from their own group because you have either been conquered or you just fetishize people. And if you're doing either of those, I don't care. You are disgusting to me. So that's just that on that. Let's continue watching some more. I think Sai wanted to say something before we move on. And if Electric Bell wanted to say something before we continue, please do. Sai, go, and then Electric.
Okay, thank you, Themis. I'm actually going to drop off because you all have answered my question and given me different perspectives. I appreciate everyone up here, but I think the consensus that I have gathered is that we all do feel as though this is a psychosis. And I think that needs to be publicly spoken out more. I think it needs to be publicly more. I don't think that we need to indoctrinate other people to become tribal, to kind of bastardize these men and hit them into the ground, because from this it is a psychosis. We do have condolences for our fallen brethren. But I just want to kind of associate the fact that their identities, their platforms are all credits, are all just fumes and vapors associated from their masters, leaders, people with actual power that they're trying to feign as though they have, but they have no idea to where to even begin. And I just think it needs to be spoken out more on that this is not a standard of manhood. This is a delusional psychosis. So again, I thank you, everybody. I'm going to drop out and let somebody else speak. But thank you, Themis. Thank you, panelists. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Electric, go ahead. And then I think Marcus said she wanted to say something. And then we're going to watch a little bit more. I didn't want this to be a long stream.
Hi. I was just calling to piggyback off of what Sai was saying. So I wasn't really trying to speak any further about that, since it was kind of buttoned up and everybody made great points on the panel. I will probably come back at the end, because for me, I understand humanity quite well, but I also am very rational and logical. And when I watch their content and I look back and forth, what hits and what doesn't, I just don't understand how they make sense of it. And I just, it leaves me speechless, because I just don't understand how they don't understand that they're being played. But I'll just let us watch the rest of the video and then just bring that back up at the end, if that's okay.
That's fine. Marcus, go ahead. We're going to watch a long part and then we'll come back. But Marcus, go ahead.
So two parts of it, like one small part where you said they don't want women with degrees. I disagree. I think they do want women with degrees, but I don't think they want the women to value their degrees. So it's like, with that extra money you're bringing it means nothing, but you're still going to do it. That's actually what I think. I think it's a form of gaslighting. And also, this might seem like I'm quibbling, but with the idea of pity and condolences and psychosis, and you all explained your views very well, and I understand, but I would say that's also dangerous, because it still puts the focus on them and their feelings. And because these people are causing harm, like they must not just talking about Black women, but like making TikToks on how to coerce women to have sex, and like they are causing harm. In my head, I would like to see a more shift to the like, okay, these are pity, so I shouldn't care about what they say, versus no, women don't deserve that, so don't care about this. You can get the same result of not being emotionally affected by what they say while still centering yourself or centering the people who are being harmed. So for the people who believe that you need pity, and I'm saying this because there seems to be an idea amongst broader culture that you do need to have pity, and like those type of ideas in order to emotionally distance yourself or from that. But I don't believe that's true. And I believe like the real people who are important should be centered in that thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. If that sounded like a declaration for other people, I want to apologize for that. For me, I find I find the easiest way to separate myself from people who I see a connection with is to pity. And as much as I would love to not see a connection with Fresh, one of them, I don't see me in the other. But it's hard as a Black man for me to, and you pointed this out, someone pointed this out. It's hard as a Black man to see other Black men and not see myself in them. It's a very strange thing, right? And this is why I'm not hard on women who are like, who want to date only Black men exclusively. Like, I don't care. But for me, like, I see myself in Black men, and when they do bad things and say stupid things, like it bothers me. Like it actually feels like a family member of mine is acting out of place, and I need to do something about it. And pity for me allows me the distance to. I think there's no grace there. It's just like, ugh, like I pity the fool who decides to be with you. It's that kind of pity. It's not the kind that allows me to lay down and be beside you to figure out what is wrong. But I get you. It's not something for everyone to do. I think you guys need to take care of your own mental health and all of that. But for me, they are unfortunately part of me. And when I see them, it's a loss for me, because the broader community, just like the Jezebel thing that we talked about yesterday, the broader community is not going to say, "Oh, it's those black men." No. They're going to say it's black man. They're going to say it's black man, and I'm a part of this black man, and the kind of perception is going to be real. And I actually hear. I don't know if I told this story. I've heard white women talk about black men and how if they failed in their community, they can always look to a black man who made it. I've heard that. I've actually heard someone say that. So, and we've seen the text. I've done a video where people were texting, a group text with white women leaked, where they were talking about how easy black men are and all of that stuff, right? So I think there is an understanding of black man psychology from white women. And for me, it's not true, right? But for a lot of people, they've bent into these ideas. And when you hear Fresh and Fit say, we don't date black women, we don't date black women, they're validating ideas that these women have that are going to come and attempt to use men who have made it, and these men are going to allow them to be themselves to be used. So it's like,
I mean, but like, I get what you're saying.
Of that community, as a part of the community, it's frustrating. Go ahead. I think Gemini was talking.
I get what you're saying, but I also think that there's a part of us that, like, we have to acknowledge that this type of black man does exist.
Oh, we know.
You know, it's just like, I know it's kind of like sad to look at him, but like, even with the white woman that's saying, like, you know, I know that situation hits worse, I can still find me a black guy, because it's like, it's true. Like we have so many experiences and so much data to say that, like, you know, you're right, sis, you're right. You can totally. I think it's just kind of like letting him go. Like, it's just that one odd brother, and it's just like, you know, you do you out there, bro. Like, you know, hey, you do you.
I don't. Well, when I say that, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying it makes me upset that it is true. Like that's what I'm saying. But yeah, like
I understand.
It's Jerry Springer for the TikTok generation. That's what someone fucking commented about it. Here's the thing, and I'd be interested to know if you're the same. When I first started watching Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels, there's a part of me that I notice that gets satisfied by watching that. Like, yeah, you take those thoughts down, you take those bitches down. I'm like, whoa, where are you coming from? Like, what part of me is it that takes satisfaction from watching guys that are prepped shit on girls that have just come and sit in a podcast studio?
It's the beta part, like the part of you that still remembers getting rejected from girls and everything. It's like, this is like us indulging in that thing of like, we couldn't get the girls.
Some vengeance.
Yeah, that's it. Because to imagine to how many guys that is so attractive to, because how many guys, okay, that's a part of us right now. If we're doing okay with the girls, it's like a part of us still remembers and, like, you know, is hateful for the fact that we got rejected by this one girl or by hundreds of girls. Imagine how many guys are like literally not attracting any women whatsoever. All they have, it's not even a part, that is just them. It's just hateful, resentful. And then they go into a show where a girl's getting made fun of, and, you know, the girl says something, but he's like, no, but here's the fact. Like, here, you didn't research like we did. Like, that guy's gonna feel like some kind of fulfillment from that. Like, yes, like finally, like they're getting put in their place. It is so attractive to the huge proportion of guys who've been hurt by women.
Yeah, Yeah, it is, and it feels like vindication, and it feels like catharsis as well. You have these guys there that are, and I think that's one of the reasons why you get a particular type of very loyal following for them.
All right, so this I'm not going to play anymore. This is where I wanted it. It's interesting because these men are pushing back against it, and they're admitting that even they watch it and they feel like, yes, get that girl, right? And it's like, so even even the men who are pushing back against it are entertained in the way that the low vibrational men are being entertained. And so that's an interesting part, right? Because I think most men have had negative interactions with women. Now, if you can exploit that negative interaction with women, sorry, and broadcast it as a way to vindicate those men, then, like they said, you get a following. So they're admitting to liking some of this. Does anyone want to like respond to that? Me, not me. Let's add you.
Can I say
I
something?
do, but she can go.
Oh, was that Marcus going?
Yeah, so I really pushed back against this because I was actually reading how the incel community started. And it was apparently by a woman who was just starting for lonely people, men and women, and who were just like, felt looked over. And so it was less toxic than this. It was just like the late bloomers or the people haven't bloomed or whatever. And then there's this group of men who started to take over the space and they started pushing women out. And then it became like now that most male incels don't believe that female incels exist. So my point is, it's going back to, if it were about legitimately this hurt, like the women who call themselves incels, like they wouldn't be pushed out. It wouldn't be just ignoring the other types of women that we were talking about that have similar experiences, or even if they don't want them, who wants them. So that's why I don't believe where it's like, oh, it's from this hurt. If it were just from that hurt, there wouldn't be such a mass rejection. Oh, women can't be incels, even though you would recognize an ugly woman, like that woman is ugly. So it's just from misogyny and just hatred of women, which most people have because it goes through our culture. I know that seems kind of trite, but I really feel it's important to push back. It's not because you were hurt. If it was because you were hurt, there'd be a more diverse reaction to basically the sex that you believe has it all or is totally worthless.
I'm not for everyone.
Oh, okay. With them saying that, I would just really just kind of like to lay it out and point it out that we get our hearts broken too. We get cheated on. Some of us get the M word happen to us. Some of us have the R word happen to us. Some of us are sensually assaulted. And by and large, all we hear from males pretty much is, don't be bitter. But it's okay for you to wallow in pretty much self-pity. And not only that, but not only for the losers to do it, but also for those of you that have gone past that, you enjoy this. What exactly are women supposed to do with that? That you enjoy making them feel awful. Who's going to want to be around you with that kind of mindset? This is not good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. It's interesting because the video obviously pushed back. They go on to talk about the male versus female fight setup where men, even sexually, feel like they need to, quote, conquer women, right? And when you sleep with a better woman, then you have won and the women have lost, right? And this is a sort of general understanding of how society operates. Are the women is supposed to police the man's sexuality and all of that stuff, and then be blamed for engaging sexually with the opposite sex, as if that's not something that would likely happen when you pursue. And then it's setting up something that ultimately becomes very toxic. It has existed pre-Manosphere, right? And it'll exist post-Manosphere unless we do something about it. I don't know the answer as to how women should engage. Well, my advice, though not giving, would be for women not to engage. But there will be one or two or a million who decide to go on the Fresh and Fit podcast and say it's their favorite, it's their favorite podcast. Not me. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Famous. I'm a newer watcher, and I just want to say that I appreciate your content. It just has an elevated level of sophistication that we don't see too much here on YouTube.
Thank you.
But getting to the point of the gentleman, that was in the video, roasting Fresh and Fit, he did speak about those girls in a derogatory sort of fashion, where he was saying, he's got the bimbos and the worst of the worst, from Miami, and I don't appreciate the way he spoke about them. But, there was, like you said, there was some truth in what he was saying. And if you notice, I've never watched Fresh and Fit. I only see their clips secondarily because I don't want to support them or give them any views at all. But I did go and look through their channel for all the videos they've posted. And even though they do have a variety of content that sometimes has the girls and it sometimes has other information, cryptocurrency and things like that, if you notice, it's always men and adult men, older men that are allowed to be on that platform on the educational aspects as well. You will never see a woman of an advanced age, anybody over 30, any ladies over 30 or anything like that. So I do think that they do take advantage of that demographic where we don't know, if these girls actually have the educational benefit and the life experience really to push back against them in any sort of a reasonable fashion. So, and I just see it all over the channel. There's no videos that I could find, for scrolling through for about 20 minutes that actually had any woman over 30 talking about anything. And so by silencing that factor and allowing, older men, gray-haired men, any man, to come on their platform and only these younger women, it's sort of like a stage disadvantage in my opinion.
Agreed. And don't have anything else to add. Just agreed. And thank you for your compliment earlier. I appreciate that. I love compliments. Jay.
Hi, guys. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. So, yeah, I was just coming on to say, I don't know if someone has said this already, and I know backstage Vitamin C, I'm guessing that's how they say their name, is saying a similar thing, that it is this idea that women are inherently protected and privileged in society, right? That men are born with these barriers that they just have to overcome, and women are able to go through life, float through life just based on our looks, and they have this sayings that men don't have any inherent value, that men have to build their value, right? So that's why society puts a lot of pressure on them to produce, and that women don't have that same pressure. So that's why it's this need. That's why they all have this need to bring women down a peg, right? To make you know that you're not that special. That's why you'll have someone like Chris Williamson, who fundamentally doesn't believe this stuff as much as the other guys do, but that's why he gets that same pleasure from it, right? Is this idea that women need to be brought down a peg, reminded that they have flaws, and then to also create the narrative where the men have the control. There's a wall. You guys are going to hit the wall at some point where you're not going to be as valuable anymore. It's all based on your looks. And by the way, we don't care about your ability to produce either, right? So that's what it's all about. And it's really sick.
It is, because I think just underscoring that with, these are the same men who say men created this and women live in it. We make the community, we make the society. It's like, all right, cool. Got it. All right. So if you make everything and women just live in it, it was your choice to make women not work, right? Which is not true. Women have been, black women particularly, have been always been working. But
Yeah.
the fact is, like, if you believe that you structure the community, you made the community, you did it, you, period. How are
Mhm.
you blaming other people for the position you put them in?
Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly. And then they always tell us, and they always say, well, men have to do manual labor and women aren't expected to. And yes, a lot of women don't want to, but there are women who want to, and that's what equality is all about. Let the women who want to do it,
Yeah.
and let the men who don't want to do it not do it. Right? That's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Just say
Honestly.
I'm a feminist and just get over it. Like,
Exactly. And then yes, and then of course there's the anti-feminism push when they really don't understand what feminism is actually all about, right? So
yeah. No, yeah, perfectly said.
mhm.
I think Anne is here. All right. I think we're gonna just do some wrap-ups now. I have to actually go back to work because everyone is calling me. All right, let's go to Deanne, and then we're gonna do a final go around. Deanne, then Anne.
Good afternoon, Themis and the panel and the chat. Okay, this was another hard day of listening. Understand a couple things here. Chris Williamson and the other gentlemen talking to him are fundamentally not much better than the men they're talking about. But they have at least grown enough to realize, as one of the gentlemen said, the beta part of them, if you will, is the one that still enjoys remembering how they were rejected X number of years ago. And they realize that that's not the strong part of them. That's growth. But if you are, the other thing these men don't understand is they will never have good women because good women are hiding from them for our own protection. Ladies, keep hiding. If you are invisible, tomorrow I will be 41 years old. I thank God that I am invisible to men about to walk off the edge of a cliff wanting to talk to me about a wall. I thank God for that. I thank God that I was held invisible to my whole generation of men having learned what I have learned in the past 2 years. Remain invisible to these type of men, because here's the thing about condolences. Condolences are in order. Themis, I'm sort of in your camp in that I am an empath, and it is very hard for me to watch anyone write their death warrants live. The men and the women who are caught in this cycle, if they do not get out. See, the Chris Williamsons and his partner in crime can talk like this. They're on a higher social economic standard. The mess that's about to take place in the next 10 years, the economy will not get to them right away. The men on Fresh and Fit's level do not understand that they are there to help create the next generation of Black prison slaves that will replace the ones that are there now who are aging out. They are creating a bunch of men who will never be able to make it out of the class, who will never be able to raise their children, and their sons will get caught up and snapped up and put in prison.
Wait, is it your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Continue. By the way, I haven't
Happy
read-
early birthday.
Thank you.
Happy early
Which is,
birthday.
thank you. I pointed out to say I am definitely post-wall. And like I said, men walking off a cliff talking about me being post-wall. No prison record anywhere around me, myself, or any of my associates anywhere. In circles where I will be able to look, y'all, I'll do this on Grown Black Folks Talk, Sunday School Beyond. As a Christian woman, I have a right to Christian marriage up to age 60. I'm going to be 41. I am not worried about these lost boys. And I said that with my chest.
Period.
Ladies, stay in hiding from men who are still even in their heads. And see, those of you who are swirling and divesting, Chris Williamson, I forget who it was who brought, I think it was Alexis Rye who brought it to my attention. He has a beautiful jawbone, but the sewage coming out of his mouth. understand that these men, the manosphere is MGTOW, as Siren said it so well, MGTOW dripping from the bottom of the trash can, dripping from the unsanitary landfill. So understand, these black men are copying something that comes from the friends in white supremacy, if you will. This was their movement. You remember how people come up here praying these things at 30 years old to the conversation? The manosphere is copying from information that's already 30, 40 years old from other communities. Stay away from them, because these men are going nowhere but down. And I can empathize, because like I said, it's very difficult for me to watch people write their death warrants. But as a person who is an empath, I also recognize they get to write their death warrant alone. My name cannot be signed to it. Ladies, no matter how much, and even you, Themas, no matter how much we have compassion, no one else is allowed to write our death warrants. And when you see these men behaving in this way, understand, for the black men who believe this, with Joe Biden, a whole president, Kamala Harris from California, the most draconian law enforcement on black men since the 1860s. My generation lived through that. Understand, black men who behave like this are writing their death warrants. They don't get to write yours. Stay alive.
Thank you, Deanne. That was very well done as always. Has anyone read Audre Lorde's "Your Silence Will Not Protect You"? She explains this phenomena so well with black men attacking black women. I actually haven't read this. I need to look it up. Thank you so much. Great point, Deanne, on the new wave of prisoners, because the older ones are aging out. Rejection is our protection, ladies. Thank you. Where is this? Curls and cupcakes, is that all? Melissa. All right. Let's
I have
do
something
some-
to add.
Who is that?
Concern.
All right, we're wrapping up, so you go Concern, and then we'll go around.
Okay. I'm not sure if this was shared already, but there's this concept. I don't have COVID. I just have a cough, guys. There's this concept of group think and how ideas spread. I think that they are also they're trauma bonding based off of traumas they have not experienced, and there's an entire psychology word for it. But many of these guys are lying about these rejection experiences. They're empathizing with other men, and they're kind of getting caught up in the riot and the mosh pit of it all. And so I just wanted to contribute that too, that many of these men are just really weak in terms of their mindset to recognize that, hold on, is this even my experience? Is the person who's talking about this horrible experience a witness that can be trusted? Is this somebody, when we think about how cults start, and we think about how, cults of personalities get to rise, especially in this use case, most of the black men who we are talking about, they might have been rejected by maybe one girl. But if you really sit down and think about it, even Jordan Peterson mentioned it, you're not getting rejected by more that often, unless you really have social issues. And that is not the majority of the population. Most people do not have social disorders. So I just wanted to contribute that it is just also group think in this use case, and they're just getting all caught up in this. And that's the sad part. There's a section of people who are deliberately bad actors, and then there's the majority, which are just people who are caught up and delusional, but basically living in this fantasy in their mind as they get this story fed to them that isn't based off of their reality.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I would venture to agree that a lot of people are sort of vicariously living through people who've been rejected and taking ownership of other people's. I don't want to call it trauma because being rejected is a part of life, but their rejection. But thank you, concerned. I appreciate that. I'm with you. All right, let's go with Anne. I don't think Anne has spoken.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, good night. I believe it's good night over there. Good morning here. I just had one point that I wanted to make about them indulging in the enjoyment of watching these women being being harmed, and I would give them grace in that because it is human. I think it's called Schadenfreude. Uh, it's a German word.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude, where you like watching the enjoyment and damage of others and have joy in it. We've all done it. And I think that's where they were coming from. That's why I give them grace in that. It's not right. And I like that they were able to stop and think and say, hey, why am I enjoying watching the pain of somebody else? Um, and that's where I would wanted to give them grace. And that's really what I really wanted to say. And most of these men, also incels and these men who say women don't experience this, it's coming from this entitlement of they were told that as a man you deserve to have this and from women. And when you're not given that, your sense of entitlement and you start to blame and spew hate and not think to the fact that maybe I was uneducated. Maybe I don't deserve this because I'm a man or just because I was born here or because I did this. And
Yeah.
it's kind of sad that the world we're living in, and it's weird that I'm feeling this divide become like bigger in our community, like in the black community in the world between our men and our women. And I just don't know where it's gonna go. And it's just the sadness of that part.
Yeah. No, I mean it is saddening, I think. I mean, my perspective, though no one asked, is that men. I don't understand if we don't see it or if we don't want to see it, but I feel like it's quite obvious that we're supposed to be doing better. Um, and the unwillingness or the inability to do it, I think, is causing a lot of psychological grief. I don't know why, but I know that today we are supposed to be doing better. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's part of the problem and being held to account. Actually, black women weren't actually holding black men to account, right? Like black women were leading the households and d- trying to fix what was broken, and then we decided hip hop should be created, it should change to drag them, and then we added the manosphere to it. So I don't know. I I don't. I try not to focus on the divide so much as I try to focus on what I think is the right thing. But I get you, and I am with you. Let's go to not me, not me.
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback, also on the topic from earlier about the pity. And I also do share a similar sentiment. It's not pity for those individuals. I have no feelings for them one way or the other. But it is just a symptom of what's wrong in the greater society, in the black community, and so forth and so on. It's like seeing a wild animal with a broken leg, and you go to try to help it, but you can't because it will still bite you. You just have to let it die. So that's kind of my sentiment. Not to make a joke about it, but it's true. It's still going to attack you, but you feel like you see that its demise is coming, and there's nothing you can do. So you're forced to move on. And I also definitely wanted to just shout out some support for Deanne, because I am one of those people. I got married after the wall. That's completely false narrative. I got married after 35. It happens every day. And, also Fresh and Fit are, they constantly try to push that narrative. But the thing is that ladies over a certain age, we're not in their demographic. No one is looking towards the male gaze of a 20-something-year-old, of a lady over 40. I mean, a few are, but that's not very common because, they can't even have an intellectually stimulating conversation. So it's just that, and so I see this, and so I'm not in it because I am older and I'm married, but I love your platform, and I just wanted to come onto your platform really just to speak to the women and the young women, just to let them know not to be bamboozled by things that people like Fresh and Fit say, because it's a widely publicated false narrative, and it just really does need to stop. So,
You said that you created the analogy, and you said it's like trying to help a wild animal that is going to bite you. Let it die. That was
you might want to help it, but it's going to die and you're going to get hurt. If you're trying to help a lion with a broken leg, he's still going to lash out at you, even though you're trying to help him. And that's what I see, of the mentality of a lot of these folks. Sadly,
gotcha.
Manosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I will say protect yourself and your energy. That's how I'm going to summarize that. But period. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I love hearing your voice. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
You too.
Now then there were 3. All right, let's go with vitamin. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Now I'm saving you for last, Gemini.
I hope you felt like the hurt.
No. Go ahead, Vitamin.
Yeah. So I guess my last words will just be something to sit on y'all sideburns. I know not everybody will agree, and that's okay. But this is just my perspective. I have been through a whole range of emotions when it comes to men. I went through my angry, vengeful phase. I guess you could call that a red pill or incel type phase. Not even incel, because it was wholly voluntary, and it's still voluntary to this day. But I went through my angry phase, and then I went through my very hurt phase. And now I'm just at a place where, coming into that space, talking about divine femininity and trying to know my worth and embody my worth and ease and luxury and all of that. To me, grace is luxurious. Dignity is luxurious. I feel like it's not empathy, but a lack of dignity that makes women mule and mammy. It is a lack of grace that fuels a bloodlust of wanting to see people, like I said, bowed, bent, and broken. So when I see them doing that, I know I don't want to be that. So when I say I'm looking at, why they're doing the things they're doing, the real reason, not the reasons they're trying to give us, but the real universal reasons, it's coming from a place of having a full cup. A cup that's full enough to let that grace spill over to them. Doesn't mean that I'm messing with them. I'm with Deanne. I'm in hiding. I don't let them in my space. I'm the one that, is always saying, I don't have time. I don't have time to talk to these dudes. I don't have time to pander to egos. I don't have time to play these games. But it's in coming to that place of grace that I can go, okay, you don't even know you don't make sense. So I can just bow out of this conversation. And they can't hurt me because of that. So from my high privileged position that I step into and I embody and I revel in, is that I know I have a cup overflowing with grace and nothing is taken from me for being able to show it to somebody else.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I haven't finished reading your book yet, but I will, and I will post it. I just did 10 more chapters of the new book, and I will be posting that this weekend for you guys to read if you're a member, book club member. That sounded like a promo. Never mind. Ignore everything I just said.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Let's go. I'm Not For Everyone.
Okay, well, honestly, to cut this all down, basically all these men want is to sleep with women and discard them. I don't know why they think anyone would want to sign up for that nonsense. And seriously, what's wrong with these guys? I myself, I can't give energy in any capacity to something like that. That's just me. And if you can't give out that energy, then don't do it. It's a lot to give out energy to something that you're not getting a return on. It's a lot. It takes a lot for someone. It may take a lot out of you. So I advise you specifically, just don't do it. Ladies, please be in mind that this is not just a manosphere thing. This is a mindset of a lot of males online and offline. Please take heed. This is not a racial thing either. This is males across the board. Do not be fooled just because they come in a different skin tone. It's the same type of mindset. It's the same type of mess. So please be mindful. And honestly, I would prefer you to stay invisible and just stay the hell away from them. But you can do what you want to do, but just be careful. And I also want to say that for the men who like to complain about white supremacy, you're sure to use a lot of their methods as a collective. So you may want to think about that as to why you use their methods, but then you want to complain about them. And you use this on your own women, by the way. And also, by the way, Black women are rejected by being the quote unquote most undesirable, but yet why aren't we acting like the way you all are? When you consider yourself to be logical and we're the ones that's supposed to be emotional. I'm going to let you all think on that. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. All right, Gemini, take us away.
All right. Super duper excited and coming back on camera. Okay, awesome. So my whole recap of everything is I love the save. You're not going to save that animal reference, but I know some people do connect with lions more because they're more majestic. So I would honestly think of it like a rat infested room, and then somebody has to drop a bomb in there. It just needs to clean up, and I'm just not going to feel bad for those rats. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another rat colony somewhere else. But I just think sometimes it's sad to let go of a certain culture and a certain thing that we have going on in the community and wanting to save and fix it and piece it back up together. But sometimes it's just you just got to let it crumble. And just I think that anybody who is in the know, who feels like they are high vibrational and they're past certain points, you don't really have to worry about anything, because it's whatever is going to get rebuilt, that you're going to be a part of. So it's I'm ready for us to let the rats flee. I'm ready to start cleaning up, getting the baseboards. I'm refurnishing. I'm ready to do the whole thing. And I think that we just got to think about an episode of Hoarders, and those people who are literally crying, trying to hold on to that nasty ass painting. And it's just let it go. I know grandma gave it to you, but just let it go. Just let it go. So, yeah. And I think that in this new age that we're entering to, we have to really kind of let go of this whole Black race, and more people that you're going to connect with are going to be different. So it's just I think it's just being open to connecting, but also still being proud of yourself. And I think that once you are proud of yourself and who you are, and this new culture that we're building, we don't have to worry about the low vibrational toxic people. So I think that we should be excited for the future. There should be no gloom, because it's not gloomy for me, because I know that I'm high vibing, right? So it's just like I said, I feel my condolences, because I know everybody down there, I'm sorry, but there is a way out. I personally see it in my head is I'm not going to stick my hand in a bunch of tar to try to pull you out, because I'm going to be afraid that I'm going to get pulled in. So I would rather you do your darnest to try to do your darnest to try to get yourself out of it. And I may, extend a stick, or something to help you out. But as far as me touching you and getting down there, probably not going to do it. So I think that's what we should think of it as. I hope that made sense. I'm really
I get you. I have nothing to push back on. It is your feelings. So I appreciate that. Welcome, Charlie. I hope I've said that right, to the membership. Kayla Cheeks, welcome to the membership. Thank you all who are now members. I hate feeling like I was trying to promote something, but I do appreciate you guys.
And one more thing I wanted to add to, and it's not trying to discourage people to not heal themselves and work on their mental trauma, but we also have to understand that there's a point after healing. We always can't be stuck in healing mode. So it's what do you do after you heal, and what actions look like after healing? So it's I can acknowledge that you do have trauma, but I'm after this point. So, if you're still in the point where you need to heal, take that time and acknowledge that, but don't get upset with people who are after that point. So, because we're all on our own journey. So it's like, I'm ready to hang out with the people who are after and who don't. Like, I understand your trigger, but it doesn't really bother me too much. So, yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm here for healing.
Bye.
I love healing. I love that. So thank you guys so much for being here. That was a quick Zoom. I'm going to go into the after show and I'll provide a short update and then we can say good night. So thank you all. Bye. So we have moved the debate to February, and I will post the new updates. But if you guys are willing to be a part of the debate, we're getting trophies sent out to people who participate in the winners. Please email either LB or Sai here, and they will respond to you. I think we have enough people, but I don't know. Email them and they'll let you know if we have enough people. And then we will start. I'm trying to start in the next 2 weeks, going through the debate training and all of that stuff. So for everyone who've thought about, oh, I want to learn how to debate, you could sign up, and this is an opportunity for us to learn, for me to teach what I know about debating and for us to learn together. Someone said, what is the debate topic? The debate topic is, and I'm going to pull it up for you guys now. The prompt is going to be, is the so-called first world involvement in the global community a net negative or a net positive? So there'll be 2 teams. We'll go through that. Yeah. Again, this is not for you to either choose a side or not choose a side. It's about argumentation, so it should be fun regardless. As I say goodnight, I got a new therapist, so this is very strange. It's very strange to kind of go through and try to figure out who your therapist is going to be. It's kind of the weird interview stage. And I've been talking about YouTube nonstop. Literally, one of our sessions was just me talking about YouTube. So this has become a major part of my life. So I love you guys. I hope you guys know that. I love this community. I love what we're doing here. I am going to try my best to continue to elevate the conversation and change things up and add more meat, right? So I'm very excited for where this is going. I'm very excited that you guys are on this journey with me, and know that I'm never, ever dictating anything to you about what you should do, how you should do it. I'm just here sharing my opinions, and you are always welcome to come on and share your opinions. Like I said, you will not be blocked if you come on and you say something, even if I fundamentally disagree with it. So you might go to prison depending on what you say, but I won't be banning people for their words. So I appreciate you guys. Love you, Themas, and everything you do. You are very much appreciated. You want to know something? I know a lot of people say this, but I actually feel that way. Like, the messages I get and the conversations I have, you guys are, I'm actually going to end it because I don't want to get too sappy, but like, you guys are amazing. Like, I actually feel a ton of love and support from you guys. And that is like amazing. Like, amazing. I always come in on Uncle. Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. Sending love from Cali. Have a wonderful, wonderful night as I go back to work. Have a good one. Bye. I like that. That's